Good morning. I'm coming to you from Fortaleza, Brazil. Episode number 1. The Demon Slayer here. This nickname was given to me in our epicdawn.org morning burpee group. This is one of several things I have in my self-development stack, let's just say, right? Because I want to be my best version because I truly love all my people. So I'm going to get up super early. I'm going to go to bed super early. I'm going to set the example. You will never see me at the party. If you ever do, it's really a party, right? Well, you're never going to see me out doing that. I'm going to go to bed early. I can't wait to get up in the morning, set the right example, get into the lab, do a meeting with the guys I really care about. It's guys who want to help themselves that you can actually help. And then having that progressive momentum in life where you can just feel God happy with you and smiling and maybe even his hand on your shoulder a little bit, right? Where you're getting out into the community very seldomly and doing some good deeds, and you're spending time in the lab very methodically, and you're coming up with grand schemes to do major good in the world. We've got one life to live. We might as well take this challenge seriously. All challenges, opportunities to build strength. We need to take the situation seriously. I'll tell you, for the longest time, I didn't even think I was going to give a shit about society ever again. I didn't really think I was going to have any interest in reconnecting with urban or government or political or whatever on the news subjects, or even have all these conversations wrapped in all this cultural requirement that's not the best. It's very fake, right? It's not very genuine, right? Genuinality and authentism is kind of like washed away, right? People don't even look at each other. You don't say hi to your neighbor. There's no cookies coming over anywhere. And you know what I mean? There's no welcome to the neighbor. There's no let's work on each other. Let's have a good quality of life, right? Let's tend to nature. Let's have a human nature relationship. That's completely non-existent. But believe it or not, there's a lot of guys that are living today the way that I was living for a long time, several years, 7 years, in Central and South American jungles. And there's guys in forests and all kinds of different climates everywhere. And they have absolutely no intention, and they never will, reacclimate into the programmed life, you could just say, right? And in the programmed life, there's lots of false beliefs, and there's lots of missing beliefs, and you can't pay attention to nature to understand everything better, because where is that? And you're indoctrinated into this academy that actually kills nature. We could send our kids to agriculture school with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they will go torture animals, and they will make monocultures that are super chemically contaminated areas that eventually won't grow anything, right? Or, and we will go be membership to these hugely funded, I was a United States military service member, honorably served. I was an instructor. I left, E5 sergeant with some, people. When I left the United States military, people were like, "You're leaving? You're a superstar." I'm surprised, right? I had more important things to deal with. I had a daughter that was in an abusive situation. And I had to move a lot of pieces to try to save that abusive situation, and it didn't work. It is my daughter, and I was helpless. I watched her tortured and screwed over, and she continues to live in a false reality inside of a false reality inside of a false reality. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning right here in about 40 minutes. I got to run my Epic Dawn morning group. So I get up early. I do some self-reflecting. I work on some stuff, some journaling, Right now I'm actually really truly in some serious shadow work. I'm leaving one secret ninja Jedi channel behind that had one purpose, and I don't know what kind of effect it, I know that it actually had, but I did it. It's out there in reality, in the real reality, right? It's out there. I made it. I checked that box. The person knows about it. They're able to inform themselves from whatever pieces of information. Now that I've tried to address, I've actually really gone back and forth. I had a bishop that I was living with in Philadelphia, and I stayed in touch with him, and we were interested in each other's lives. It was and we're all fellow journeymen going in the same direction, right? And so I called him, and I'm talking to him about all these. My daughter had been kidnapped at that point, so I'm talking about him with that, and he's just like, well, there's nothing that you can do about your specific issue. You know that. There's nothing. She's gonna step it up. She's got this whole family. Look at what you've already lost. Now you're not in any position to do anything. She launched a master cripple plan on you, and it worked, and you're down, and you're not in the position to do anything. However, I think it would be good for you. I think in most things that this was good advice, but not in this thing. When you're dealing with let me say it like this. When you're dealing with a narcissist, even in parental alienation, you need to educate yourself on narcissism, okay? Narcissistic trait, narcissistic actions. You need to start calling this. The only, in my case, I really, I dropped a couple things. Boom, 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 boom. Here, that's right now, right as you do this. I sent them all the professional information about how bad this was for people to solidify their karma. I knew that she was just as wretched as a child abuser. Child abusers know that they were ruining this child's life. That's a narcissist, right? They are ruining this child's life, but they do it anyway. They don't care. Their sick desire of getting their rocks off, or even worse, getting their rocks off. Hate your dad, hate your dad, hate your dad, hate your dad, with a spiritual appendage that's going in there that you can't even see. And fucking man, this kind of damage, 50 Cent's oldest son. That's it. And look at how mom's posting pictures on Instagram on a regular basis at parties and getting down and with her little friends off this fortune that she's doing child abuse to wreck the she get the checks and no, what in the world? And then we have a government that's I've said it before, I'll say it again, there's a Braveheart. Would you rather get the Braveheart law, get an English lord, get your girl one time? I'd rather raise a kid that wasn't even genetically mine than to be in love with my princess and have moved everything in the world and invested so much and just be torturously cut off and have her brainwashed to hate me and weaponized, and then read the damage that's done to the child. Oh, man, it magnified it, right? No, be an advocate. Listen to the stories. I actually volunteered as an advocate, and I was listening to all these stories. I'm still, narcissists will kidnap a child from a dad. That dad will commit suicide, and they will stalk and harass the narcissist and their flying monkeys that are all living in this false reality that the one narcissist created. This is in every situation, right? When I say narcissist, I'm just saying the human mouth sound that someone made up for a demon. Okay? All right? I made this channel. I've had the real name for 3 years now, given to me by the burpee community of the Demon Slayer. Because I would talk shit while we did burpees about how I would imagine myself slaying demons with a samurai sword or Kill Bill, blood everywhere, right? Just to make it fun and to get more burpees in. Because when you're thinking, mindset is real. If you're in a combat Kill Bill mindset, you're gonna knock out more burpees than if you're thinking about giving your grandmother roses or whatever, right? Okay, so let's be straight. We are giving a clinical term for soullessness. Now, if there's a meat sack and it rotted its soul away, it's a meat sack that's a vessel for, I am convinced, 1000%. I have to testify to you this first. I have been touched from the other side 7 times by people who lived on this side and then crossed over. 3 of them, 3 different people. I have a spiritual experience when I was 13 in Birmingham, Alabama. I escaped from juvie jails as a little kid. I was with another escaped convict, all muscle bound and everything, girls that crawled all over, and he showed me the way. I was 12, I had a fake ID saying I was 16. We were moving and grooving and staying in nice hotel rooms. We had a good hustle, and he's teaching me about God. And angels saw this crazy situation, this beautiful situation, and I'm thankful for it. I forgive and I thank my narcissistic mother. I'm a product of whoring. I'm finding out in my 40s that who my real genetic father was, and so she was cheating on her wife, on her husband. My mother cheated on her husband with his brother, and only from that do I exist. So born of a whore, and she child abused, and then she had me locked up in juvie jails after she took my dad to a cleaner and filled 3 full-size storage units and kept scamming on car accidents and every kind of thing she could do. And she's just a villain, but no villain's gonna come and tell you can't trust me. As far as you could throw the city right here, but most of them you can't. Right? If you can't, you can't. Right? And this is a narcissist, and if they stay in that modality for a certain amount of time, I am convinced that they click in to a really demonic level and they start to channel demonic power. Now, in parental alienation, in kidnapping, if innocent little kids are involved and virtually used as the voodoo doll to do this, witchcraft, demonic deception, false reality, control freak thing that they're doing. It is at that juncture that they really get recognized from the demonic spectrum. They're like, oh. And then and I know, I'm telling you, I have under witchcraft to such an insane degree. It's surprising that I'm still alive, that I'm not in prison, that I didn't do something to somebody else. The genetic father I was just telling you about was killed by a guy who went on a free killing spree. This is a true story. All because he lost his kids in family court. Crazy. Lost his kids in family court, killed an entire family, a husband, a wife, and a 17-year-old kid. I'll continue to tell the story, right? And killed the whole family. There's a Dateline special about this. Killed the whole family. There's a best-selling book about this already. Killed the whole family just for their place. Then, since there was a cash stash, he had killed already another guy before that, and he had a lot of cash now. And there was cash stashed over here. He knew it, right? And he probably tortured these people to get that information, or he could have. Who knows? But he's gonna make sure that he gets access to everything, right? So, anyway, You know, he's likely, look, I killed them, they're dead, you're next. Give me the access to the shit, this is over. Either way, you're gonna die right now. You know, I could sit here and torture you, or you could fucking give me all the information that I need. You know? And then he went on to kill another lady who was a fucking saint in this area, who ran little kids programs for unfortunate little kids who had nothing. She was the saint in their lives. Boom. Then another saint, my biological father. This dude was a saint, and he had been through hell, like all my guys in epicdawn.org. And isn't it great to just have like a council formation of graduated souls who took their opportunities and as challenges to build strength and took them on head on, honestly and valiantly, and didn't lose their soul and become a hollow shell and get channeled by, and you know, possessed by one or more or five. You can do a lot of research on YouTube now, near-death experience, possession, right? And you can start to see, and there's now 5, 6, 7, 8 books being compiled, new ones. And you can start to see, oh my word, for those kinds of consistencies, you know, could they all be lying? They could. On the narcissistic spectrum of things, we see people share a lie, huge masses, weak people, just as Joe Rogan says. I have a hardcore fitness one-on-one mentorship channel. If you want to go to brandonangelfitness.com, I do a couple calls a week. You take pictures of your food, you send it to me, we get you fit, we get you hardcore, and all these different ways, you know, because if you're strong and you're sharp and you study the greats and you're disciplined, you will cut through life much more than the version of you against you, all right, that doesn't do those things, that has a narcissist in their life, that fails to identify what's going on. Oh man, is that a regretful chunk of time, right? How did I get fooled? How did I get fooled so long? All right, on this particular demon slaying channel, I just want to make this quick intro to tell you that I'm here. I love you. Even the narcs, because they actually donate their souls to hell so that we can get our wings in Valhalla and stage 2, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to have a semantics argument when you get there. It's going to dynamically know what you are and what you're made of. And this is a perfect opportunity to overcome this drastic evil. Some people don't even experience these people, right? But there's nothing out in quiet nature. And I'll tell you, I lived out there for 7 years by myself. There's nothing out there in quiet healing from extreme severe PTSD, which I still have extreme severe PTSD. So I might be a little quirky and I'll bait criticisms through that from the narcissistic population that wants to talk about what's wrong, what's on your teeth, why didn't you cross that I, or why do you misspell that word, rather than the actual message. Anything to defect, right? These demons, they're copying valiant people, probably the ones they're attacking and jealous of, as they project all that's true about them onto those valiant people to make it extra confusing, right? So I just want to let you know I'm here. Follow, and you will have all you will be able to, everything is contagious. Everything is contagious. So be very mindful of what you put in that mind garden, all right? And remember, nature doesn't provide any evil like that's highly deceptive and manipulative like that for you to overcome. These narcissists choose in their free will. We could be them too. In fact, that's the worst thing that can happen to you in this whole thing, is that you become one. All right, so, but I'm gonna get you strong in every way. Right here for free. I don't want anything in return. You could just follow. I'm here. I'm gonna be posting these videos, and You know, I'm just in my little corner of life, right? I'm gonna do what I can to promote a strength and a recognition about these individuals and what they really are, take their power away by educating you and building a culture of categorization, of correct categorization. You know, you simply really just need to correctly categorize these people and play it right. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna tell this person, I'm not gonna talk about this around this person. You know, how you doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. I'll put on the bullshit for this bullshit person. But I know that I have to live my life free of anything. You know, I am not letting this shit come in. I'm keeping them at a distance. I'm staying way over here, and I'm operating with other guys who are genuine, authentic, have soul, are honest, are even committed to it. Let's just look at rational nature. Actually, really, let's galvanize ourselves against these creeps by calling them out, by warring against them. That's what God really needs. I know, I told you before, I've been touched by above, and what all I'm trying to do right now is get touched by above. The only care I care about is respect from above. This urban, sterile academia for toxicity, toxic food, toxic water, toxic information, toxic culture, toxic habits. Realize you're in a programming schematic that just simply, if it gets bad enough, you can remove yourself from. Go live in nature, go live in a farming community, go live on a farm and say, let me work, let me learn. It's the solo mission, the vision quest. I love you.